Hi, my name is Jess. I am a rising senior. That's exciting. I am a women and gender studies major and Arabic minor from Northern California, kind of south of San Francisco. Um, Apart from being an admissions tour guide as well as a senior interviewer, senior fellow, I play club rugby on campus. I write for our humor blog, The Thrill, and I am a leader of an LGBTQ organization on campus.
Hi, I'm Isabella. I'm also a rising senior from McLean, Virginia, which is around the Washington, D.C. area. I'm a double math and classics major. For my math major, I also concentrate in statistics. In addition to working in admissions and academic life, I play the French horn and the piano in some of our music ensembles, and I'm active in Greek life. I'm a member of Alpha Sigma Tau, which is our one national sorority, which is one of 4 sororities that we have on campus.
Today, we're going to be taking you down Middle Path, kind of the central artery of campus. And if you want to look around as we do that, you can click and drag. The 360 feature will show you other places on the sides of Middle Path. Welcome to Kenyon. We're a very historic campus. We were founded almost 200 years ago now, in 1824. To our left, we will see the Church of the Holy Spirit, one of the oldest buildings on campus. We were actually initially Episcopalian, although we are now no longer denominational. That being said, there are still services in Church of the Holy Spirit every Sunday.
On your right, you'll see Cromwell Cottage, which is the home of our fearless leader, President Sean Decatur. He is absolutely adored by all of the students because he's so accessible and because he's made a real commitment to STEM and to diversity. Every month, he has Pizza with the President, where he talks with students, and he also plays Dungeons and Dragons with our tabletop club.
Just past Cromwell Cottage is the Gun Gallery, one of our newer additions to campus. It is free to visitors, students and community members alike. They do all kinds of events there, including movie screenings. They have art exhibitions that rotate upstairs. They even bring in food trucks sometimes, and they're responsible for the community feast, which happens in the fall every year.
The Gun Gallery is also a wonderful professional opportunity that we have for students on campus. There are over 60 student associates who run basically all the workings of the Gun Gallery.
To our left, we will actually see the admissions building, Ransom Hall. We would usually start the tour there in person, but it is a lovely building home to all of our admissions workers. Many students are also employed there as well, like Isabella and myself. And on the other side, we have the really exciting, very new addition to Kenyon's campus. This is going to be the site of the West Quad, which includes our new library. I think, the name was announced about a year ago, the Chalmers Library, named after one of our former presidents. There's also going to be a new academic building, as well as a new admissions and financial aid building, which combines the 2 offices. And the new library is set to be complete in the spring of 2021. So us seniors are very excited to get to see it. But in the meantime, the wall on the outside of it has been painted by the community, and various summer groups from, I think, 2 summers ago painted different representations of their research projects, which I think is really neat. There was a big harvest, kind of like fall festival when the wall first went up, where the community came out together and painted kind of abstract representations of the Kokosing River and the trees that line Middle Path as well.
Right next to the construction, you'll see Ross Hall, which is one of our music buildings on campus. It's our biggest auditorium. It seats around 600 people. On the front steps is actually where one of our favorite traditions takes place. At the end of orientation, right before you start classes your freshman year, you will stand up on those steps, line up on those steps, and sing our 4 alma mater songs. At the end of your senior year, right before commencement, you'll get back up on those steps and sing those songs once again. It's a really beautiful bookend tradition that we have for our students. At many schools, you might not know your alma mater song. At Kenyon, not only do we know them, but we know all 4 of them. Inside of Ross Hall is also where we have a lot of speakers come to campus. And we bring a lot of speakers to campus, whether they be like authors and people, or people who went to Kenyon talking about what they're working on now, or the Center for the Study of American Democracy brings a lot of politicians and that kind of work in to talk with us. I think there was a gubernatorial debate a couple years ago. We've had a lot of important speakers, including Michelle Obama, Junot Diaz, the author.
Student events such as like a cappella events also happen in Ross, and they're very well attended.
Across from Ross, you will also see the MOD buildings, which are currently there. That's currently where all of our library resources are housed until the construction is finished. Library resources include the primary collection. Most of our primary collection is located in there. The rest is located in storage and can be easily called up if you should need it. Also, Helpline, which is our student-manned IT desk, is located inside these mods at the moment, and the Research and Reference Desk is also located inside them.
As we walk down to Pierce, you'll see on the right a big grassy green area. This is where we have summer send-off, an annual concert in the spring semester to kind of end the year, celebrate the seniors. It's really, really fun, lots of food trucks. So as you'll see as we enter, there's a golden shiny seal on the ground. If you were in person, I would tell you not to step on it. We have kind of a tradition. They say that if students step on the seal during their 4 years, they will not graduate in 4 years. So I always just ask people to step around it. That's part of why it's so shiny. Very few people step on it.
This is Pierce, which is our one dining hall on campus. We do have one dining hall, and because of that, it functions as a sort of de facto student union. You always know every time you go into Pierce, you're going to see your friends. You know that you're going to see basically the whole student body while you're in there. It is an absolutely beautiful building. It is actually, personally, I think architecturally my favorite building on campus, because I think it really represents one of the really important missions of Kenyon, which is to take the old and really renovate it and modernize it into the new era. On one side of the dining hall, we have a place for students to sit that's very creatively nicknamed Old Side. And on the other side, we have a side very creatively nicknamed New Side. Old Side is sort of how we've gotten a reputation for being the Hogwarts school, while New Side is absolutely beautiful, totally modern, floor-to-ceiling glass windows. There's a place for anyone to sit, no matter what it is that you're looking for while you're eating.
Something that's really cool about Pierce as well is the atrium, kind of islet connector between old and new side. You'll see a lot of student organizations do what we call tabling in Pierce, which is they'll set up a table and kind of holler at you as you come in, and you can sign up for things, you can register to vote. They'll do a lot of fundraisers, bake sales. It's a really cool way for student organizations to be kind of reach the whole community. 40% of our food is locally and sustainably grown. There are a ton of farms, including like family farms around Kenyon's campus. The Kenyon farm as well is a student-run 10-acre farm, slightly off campus, but that does give us a lot of our produce. So we're now gonna head back out to Middle Path.
We're now heading sort of towards the academic center of campus. This is where most of our classes take place. Kenyon does not have a completely open curriculum. Instead, we have what we call diversification requirements. We think that breadth is really important as depth is in the curriculum. What that means is that you'll be taking 2 classes in each of the academic spheres, those being humanities, fine arts, physical science, and social science. On your right, we're heading down into the science quad, which is where all of our physical science classes take place.
This building right here is Samuel Mather. It's home to psychology and neuroscience. It's really beautiful. Commencement, when the weather permits, actually usually happens outside Samuel Mather.
So we're now standing in the science quad, which is lovingly nicknamed the squad. On your right, the rightmost building is Hayes, which houses our math and physics departments. Next to Hayes is Tomsic, which houses chemistry. And across from Hayes is Higley, which houses biology.
So we're heading back out to Middle Path. Directly across from the squad is Ascension Hall, our oldest academic building on campus. It houses so many departments, I probably couldn't name them all. As of right now, the second and third floors have been converted primarily into study spaces. So there are a lot of classrooms and offices in the building, but my favorite study spot is second floor Ascension. Got the really cool, like old stained glass window type aesthetic of Ascension, which is a really neat, again, mesh of old and new. So something that's really special about Middle Path, and I wish y'all could hear it, is the crunch of gravel as you go along. A lot of alums are really nostalgic about that sound. The benches that you see lining Middle Path are often there's always someone sitting along Middle Path. Farther down Middle Path on South Campus, you'll actually arrive at a more residential part of South Campus. A lot of upperclassmen choose to live here. So first years live farther north on Middle Path altogether. But as you become a sophomore and onwards, you are in the housing lottery for the most part. And I personally loved living on South Campus my sophomore year. I lived in Bushnell, which is to the left and behind of Old Kenyon. It is a single gender dorm, so at the time it was all women's. However, my junior year, I lived in this building to our left, Leonard Hall, a really historic building. It's something that's so great about South Campus is you really get to live in Kenyon's history. These were all some of the original buildings.
These are also where Greek life is housed on our campus. Around 20 to 25% of our students are part of Greek life.
As you'll notice, we don't have any fraternity or sorority houses. We don't have a row on campus, and I think that really makes Greek life a little bit more integrated into our community, kind of just like any other affinity group or club, as opposed to its own separate organization.
We're now walking up to Old Kenyon, which is the iconic building that you've seen on every single piece of admissions material you've ever received from us. It is also the spot where Philander Chase, our founder, came to Kenyon and realized that this was the spot where he wanted to build his school. He supposedly found this spot and said, "This will do." And I think that is sort of an experience that every single Kenyon student has when they arrive on campus for the first time, that they arrive and they're like, yes, this is it. This is the spot where I want to spend the next 4 years.
Thank you so much for coming on this virtual Middle Path campus tour. We have more information in the description below if you're interested. You can also reach out to the admissions office with any questions. You can even ask to be put in contact with either of us directly. We love to answer questions.
You can feel free to watch one of our other tours that we have virtually offered right now. There's a tour of STEM at Kenyon. There's a tour of the CAC, the Kenyon Athletic Center, and athletics at Kenyon. There is one on English and creative writing at Kenyon, and there's a tour about fine arts as well.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining us on our little virtual campus tour. We hope to see you on Middle Path or on the Hill someday in the future.